Something in the air has changed. Can you feel it? The angels gather close to whisper what your heart has long tried to silence. There is someone, yes, that someone, who once stood under the stars and made a silent promise. I'll wait for her, no matter how long it takes. And for a while he kept that vow, buried beneath distractions, life's demands, the noise of pretending he was fine. But something changed, not outside but within. He felt you. Not in the way you're used to being noticed. Not in fleeting glances or spoken words. But in soul memory. In the ache between breaths. In the stillness after midnight where your name, without explanation, became a prayer he didn't know he was whispering. The angels say, he has remembered her. You. His heart cracked open without warning. The image of your smile, the echo of your presence, came rushing back like light breaking through closed windows. And now he's overwhelmed. The promise he once made to the stars has begun to pulse louder in his chest, louder than fear, louder than reason. He doesn't understand why now. Why, after all this time, something so ancient and sacred has returned with force. But the divine always moves when the soul is finally ready to remember what it chose before the body even arrived. You were sent to his path as both mirror and miracle. Not to complete him, the angels are clear about that, but to awaken what he buried, truth, softness, reverence. He is shaken because his heart is responding to something it hasn't felt in years, or lifetimes. And that response is you. This chapter of your story is not about chasing love. It's about standing still in your radiance and realizing that the universe has already begun to turn things in your favor. You did not knock. You did not chase. You simply existed. And that was enough to move heaven. His soul felt the shift. And now, there's no going back. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1 verse 5. He wanted to love you easily. Effortlessly. Like in the stories he tells others. The ones where he's always in control. But this connection doesn't let him perform. It doesn't let him pretend. And that terrifies him. The angels say, he didn't expect her to see through the armor. He built it carefully, over years of silence and hidden truths. But your presence, soft, calm, disarming, made the cracks visible. Not because you tried to fix him, but because you simply refused to be what the others were, a distraction. You weren't noise. You were presence. And that is what woke the storm. His wounds didn't begin with you. The fear he carries, it was already there. Old betrayals. Women who only loved his image. Childhood moments where he learned that needing someone was dangerous. The angels show us a boy who decided very early, I'll never let anyone see me cry again. But then came you. And with one glance, he felt seen. Known. Not judged, not tested, not pursued, just received. It's why he runs. Why he says one thing and does another. Why his silences last too long. Because being near you makes the old survival patterns short-circuit. You don't fit the mold of his past. You weren't sent to fit anything. You came to awaken. And awakening, dear soul, is never gentle. Still, don't mistake his distance for a lack of care. His absence is not indifference. It's overwhelm. He's standing at the edge of a truth he can no longer deny, that what he feels for you is real. That it's not something he can bury under logic or timing or convenience. And the closer he gets to this truth, the louder his fear becomes. But the angels say this, even in hiding, his soul is reaching for you. He may pull away, but his heart is tethered to yours in a place words cannot reach. So breathe. You're not losing him. You're watching him unravel. And that unraveling is holy. You've been holding your breath, haven't you? Waiting for signs. For clarity. For him. But the angels lean in close now and whisper, daughter, love that drains you is not sacred. It's survival. And you were never meant to survive someone. This isn't about abandoning him. No, the bond is real, the mission divine. But there is a sacred truth rising through your chest. You can no longer abandon yourself in the process. He is in the midst of his storm. But you, beloved, are the lighthouse. And lighthouses don't chase ships. They stand in their light. They stay rooted. They shine. The angels say, she's allowed to rest now. Rest from over-explaining. Rest from shrinking. Rest from questioning if your needs are too much. They're not. Your softness is not a flaw. Your longing is not foolish. Your depth is not a burden. You are a woman reborn in grace, a soul who's walked through fire and still blesses the ground with her footsteps. Do not dim because someone else is learning how to see in the dark. Let him journey. Let him process. Let him face his fears. But don't wait in emotional hunger. Feed your soul. Reclaim your joy. Laugh without guilt. Dress up for no one. Light candles for yourself. Say no without apology. Say yes without delay. Your energy is not a currency to be spent waiting for someone to wake up. It is a sanctuary. And those who wish to stay must learn to honor its door. The angels remind you, she heals when she remembers she is not here to prove her worth. She is here to remember it. And when he does come, and yes, they say he will, let him find you whole. Not waiting, but blooming. He says he doesn't understand why he thinks of you at the most inconvenient times. Why your name echoes in silence. Why your absence feels louder than anyone's presence ever did. But the angels know why. Because when he looks at you, even from afar, he sees what he tried to bury. You became the mirror he wasn't prepared for. You didn't just reflect his light. You reflected his pain, his hopes, his unfulfilled truths. You walked into his life carrying a frequency he hadn't felt in years, one that compelled him to confront not who he pretends to be, but who he truly is. And that confrontation, dear soul, is not gentle. The angels whisper, she didn't try to change him. She simply stood still, and he saw himself. That's why he flinches. Your compassion exposes the places where he withheld love. Your clarity reveals the lies he told himself to survive. Your joy reminds him of the child he left behind long ago. And yet, he can't stay away. Because while you make him ache, you also help him remember. You remind him of what life felt like before the masks, before the compromises, before the armor. You are not just someone he met. You are the sacred pause between lifetimes. The mirror that reflects what could be, if only he chose to be real. And even if he can't yet articulate it, he's drawn to you. Not for comfort. Not for pleasure. But for transformation. You stir something in his spirit. Not because you speak it, but because you embody it. You are the mirror and the medicine. And the angels are clear. Some love doesn't come to soothe. It comes to awaken. Let him see. Let him squirm. Let him run. But do not shatter the mirror. Because one day, when he's ready to face himself, he will return. And he'll do so with reverence. Something quiet is unfolding inside him. You may not see it. He may not speak of it. But the angels do. They say, his soul is stirring. It begins subtly. A restless night, a moment of stillness where your voice returns like breath on his skin. A memory, sharp and tender, blooming in the middle of his routine. These are not accidents. These are the first signs of awakening. He used to believe he was in control of his path, his emotions, his future. But then came you, and with you, a soft unraveling. Not chaos, not drama, but clarity. And clarity can be terrifying. The angels show a man sitting alone, holding a truth he can no longer escape, that love has found him, not in the noise or perfection, but in the simple act of being present. And that presence is you. You've triggered something ancient, something he once prayed for and then forgot. But now it rises again, not as a fantasy, but as a recognition. And still, he hesitates. Because awakening is not romantic. It's raw. It burns away illusion, strips away false identity, and demands honesty. He sees now what he denied for so long, that what he feels for you is not fleeting. It is soul-deep, life-altering. He begins to see you differently, not just with longing, but with reverence. He listens for your silences. He remembers your laughter like sacred text. He wonders how you became the thread that pulls him out of his numbness. You didn't ask for this power, but the angels say you were born with it. You are the key he didn't know he needed. And though he may resist it, though he may still struggle with the pace of his becoming, the door is open. He will not be the same. You are not just a part of his story now. You are the chapter he cannot skip. He comes close, then vanishes. Again and again, like waves brushing your shore only to retreat into the depths. And you standing there, heart open, wonder, what am I doing wrong? The angels answer, nothing. This is not punishment. It is process. You are not chasing love. You are witnessing resistance. He doesn't run because he doesn't feel. He runs because he feels too much. And every time he enters your orbit, the gravity of what you are together pulls him deeper than he was prepared for. He withdraws not to forget you, but to recover from the flood. This is not just about romance. It's about identity. Every time he comes near you, something breaks free within him. Patterns, beliefs, defenses. You shake the foundation he built around himself, and that kind of exposure is terrifying. So he resets, retreats, pretends to let go, but then always returns. Because even in distance, your essence lingers. The angels say, she is in his breath now, in his dreams, in the pause before sleep. He tries to build walls faster than his soul can tear them down. But his soul is louder now. And with each cycle, the gaps in his armor grow wider. This is not a test for you to endure. It's a mirror for him to face. You don't have to do more. You don't have to wait with empty hands. The healing was never yours to carry alone. The back and forth, the longing, the silence, they are not games. They are symptoms of an awakening not yet complete. And though your heart aches with each withdrawal, know this, he is not gone. He is orbiting. And one day, the pull will be too strong to resist. He will land. And when he does, it will be with both feet. He may never admit it. But your love is the only thing that ever reached him where even he could not go. The angels say, she didn't heal him with answers. She healed him with presence. There is a kind of medicine that doesn't come in words or gestures. It arrives in silence, in the way you stayed when he was tangled in his shadows, in how you looked at him not with pity, but with remembrance. As if you knew he was more than his armor, even when he forgot. You never demanded that he be ready. You never begged to be chosen. You simply offered your heart, whole and unguarded, as if to say, you don't have to be fixed to be loved. And that undid him. Because the world only taught him to earn affection, to perform for connection. But you, beloved, showed up with something different. You gave what he didn't even know he needed, acceptance that didn't ask him to be anything but true. The angels show me a moment. He's alone, quiet, overwhelmed by a wave of tenderness that has no source except you. He doesn't know why it's happening. He doesn't understand how love can hurt and heal at the same time. But that's what you are to him, a sacred contradiction. Your love isn't loud. It doesn't impose. It doesn't pursue. It waits, like a prayer left burning on the altar. It lingers in the space between fear and surrender. And slowly, without even realizing it, he is softening. Your presence dissolves the walls he spent years building. Your compassion rewrites the story he told himself about love, that it's conditional, that it's dangerous, that it always ends. The angels say, her love is not safe. It is sacred. And because of that, it's changing everything. There are days when you question if it's all in your mind. If the signs, the synchronicities, the pull, are just fragments of hope wrapped in fantasy. But the angels lean in now, and they speak with fire. This is not imagination. This is orchestration. Everything that has unfolded, the delays, the returns, the unspoken moments, has been placed with intention. Heaven doesn't operate on our clocks. It operates on alignment. You were never waiting. You were being prepared. The divine has been stitching timelines and healing ancestral threads, guiding both of your hearts to meet at the edge of readiness. And though the path looks slow, it is sacredly precise. The angels say, she thinks she's in limbo, but we are guiding the resurrection. He is still catching up to what your soul already knows, that you were written into his story not as a chapter, but as a turning point. He may question, delay, or resist, but there is a force greater than both of you holding the reins. This love is being midwifed by the heavens. Every detour, every silence, every magnetic return, it's all part of the choreography. And if you listen closely, in the quiet between your doubts, you will feel it, the steady hum of divine timing. So take heart, beloved. Not because the outcome is guaranteed, but because the process is holy. What's meant for you does not rush. It ripens. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6. You are not forgotten. You are being guided. He doesn't talk about it. But the closer he gets to you, the more everything inside him begins to tremble. The angels whisper, he is afraid of what love demands, not from you but from him. Because to truly love you, he knows he cannot stay the same. And while his soul longs for transformation, his heart still clutches its armor like a lifeline. He wants to tell you the truth. That you disarm him. That you move him in ways no one ever has. That sometimes, he pulls away not because he doesn't care, but because he cares too much and has no map for how to carry that. This man, the one who stands so tall in front of others, is a boy inside, terrified to be seen. Not by the world. By you. Because you see him. Not the version he curates, not the roles he plays. You see the softness, the ache, the longing, and that, beloved, is his undoing. The angels show him sitting alone, fists clenched around his silence, rehearsing how to say what he's never had permission to say. I don't know how to love without losing myself. But he's wrong. Because your love never asked him to lose. It only asked him to come home. He is beginning to sense that. To feel the difference. The safety in your energy. The way your presence makes his fear less loud. Still, it's not easy. He has wounds that don't know your language yet. He has moments where his defenses speak louder than his desire. But the angels say this, she doesn't need him perfect. She just needs him real. And real takes courage. So if he falters, if he hesitates, don't take it as rejection. Take it as proof that you've reached the part of him that never thought it deserved love. And know, that is sacred ground. There is no fear in love. But perfect love drives out fear. 1 John 4 verse 18. There will come a moment, maybe in silence, maybe in storm, when everything inside you settles. Not because it became easy, but because you finally remembered, what is meant for your soul does not need to be chased. It finds you. The angels say, her peace is not surrender. It is power. You've loved bravely. You've waited without closing your heart. You've shown up without demanding a script. And now, you let go. Not of him, but of needing to control what cannot be rushed. You release the need to fix, to interpret every silence, to hold space for a version of him that hasn't yet fully arrived. And in that release, something miraculous begins to shift. Because when you stop reaching, your spirit starts receiving. He may still be figuring it out, still pacing, still circling the gates of his own heart, but now the dance has changed. You are no longer standing in the ache. You are standing in the knowing. That love is not a question of deserving. It is a matter of alignment. And when two souls are ready, nothing, not fear, not time, not even their own resistance, can keep them apart. The angels are silent now, not because they've left, but because they are in awe. Watching you bloom, watching you remember that your love was never small, that your worth was never conditional, that your light was never too much. This chapter ends with neither conclusion nor closure. Because love this sacred does not end. It transforms. And maybe one day he will rise, not because you waited, but because you became. And he'll recognize you, not as the woman who waited for him, but as the woman who remembered herself.